Everybody listen up. Ticket.
Was it so? Was he a big? Was it y'all niggas? And oh,
All right. Hey, everybody. It's Good Friday. Coming into the Memorial Day weekend. And this is Big Jeff and coming to you live from No Days Off Radio Production with the number one show in the land. Nothing but the truth. Yay. All right. Last week, I had a little issue with one of my best friends passing away, and I want to send a special shout out and a moment of silence to Willingham. Willie Willingham. Went through school together, elementary through high school, and he was a real good guy. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to give a few moments of silence to old Willingham, and then we're going to start this show. All right? We're going to a moment of silence. Amen. All right. Okay, today's topic. Shanita started part one last week with how to co-parent respectfully with your, significant others or your baby mom, baby dads, however we decide to label them. You can be a baby mom, you can be a baby dad, you can be a wife, you can be a, girlfriend, you can be a what we call it shacking. However, a relationship is a relationship. I don't believe in um I don't believe in relationships being, shacking or, however other people see it. Any relationship is a real relationship, first of all. It's no such thing as a false relationship unless you came in pretending in the beginning. So yeah, that is a false relationship, and that's why a lot of the relationships don't last long because they are false. But during the relationship, if you create another human being and things don't go well and you wind up co-parenting, the co-parenting should outweigh the difference in the relationship, what caused the relationship to end, what took place during the relationship, whether it was good, bad, or ugly. The 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 person that was created in the midst of that shouldn't have to be the one pay that toll. And the parents shouldn't have to be the people who have the issue to make that toll be paid by that child or those children. You know, we got to always understand these kids don't ask to be here. We bring them into the world. We create them and we bring them into the world through God. So all kids are meant to be here that's here. So if you have to co-parent, the parents should be able to get along. They should be able to talk to each other. They should be able to, you know, have a family function and each one be able to attend without it being an issue through either or each other's significant others. You know, some relationships ain't built to last forever. Some relationships, this is my opinion. My opinion is if you're in a relationship and that relationship has to end at some point, it was meant to be that way because that's part of your story. It's part of your story. And I have said before that if you wind up with a person that you have been in a relationship with before and y'all wind up getting back together again and trying to make it happen or trying to make, whatever went through the first course better and make it work, then it was meant for y'all to be together. It was meant. But in the course of the time of you all being separated and have to be co-parents and be co-parenting, you should be able to get along with that with the other person. You know, and that helps the kid or the kids. It helps them because when you co-parenting and your kids can see that mom and dad is not getting along, uh, or mom speaking on dad, in a bad manner every chance she get, and vice versa. It just don't not for the woman. Now the man can do some damage to a kid too by talking about the mom and trying to disgrace the mom, as well as her doing it to him. So that's something that the parents supposed to get together on. Regardless of what your differences are, the child has no reason to have to live that. The child has no reason to have to go through that. The child shouldn't even hear you bicker if you're not in the same household with their parent. So Co-parenting is a team thing between the parents, you know, and somebody got to be the bigger person, you know. And out of all my kids' mothers or whoever that I have conceived children with, raised children with, the whole 9 yards, that's a game we never played. We never played we're going to let the children play the both sides against the middle game with us, regardless of what the differences are that we have with each other. The child is not going to control it, you know. And when I say the child, don't let the child control, I mean, you know, sometimes we as men, we'll be so vulnerable and we'll be so guilty of not being that father to where we'll try to, as I used to call it, buy the damn children. You know, to where, you know, every time you get the children, you want to buy them this, buy them that, do this, that, and the other, you know, which is good. But let it be good on you wanting to do it as a parent, not trying to win the child over. And the same thing is for the mothers. You got fathers, you got single fathers out here raising their children without their mothers. So you got single parents on both sides of the table now. And it go both ways. It go both ways. If you the single father raising your children and mom is not in the household, she's gonna do the same thing. And that's what ruins the child or the children. You know, you don't have to, you know, as in co-parenting, you don't have to bash the other parent because the kid is gonna get older. I want y'all to really understand. The kid is gonna go from an infant to an adolescent to an adult. So the kid is gonna see everything that the other parent isn't doing or is doing or ain't trying to do or ain't wanting to do or whatever. So you don't have to iterate it. You don't have to make that kid live it by hearing it every time mom or dad don't do something that the other wanted them to do. Sometimes they just can't do it. And you have to let those kids know that, you know, if you're being a real parent, you supposed to let your kids know that, hey man, maybe mom or dad can't afford it right now. You know, because they have a life too. They have to pay bills too. You know, so it's not that they don't care. They may just not be able. You know, and I had a discussion one time with some people, with some of my, you know, friends and, you know, people who, you know, that I kick it with or whatever. And I was trying to make the young ladies and the men understand that sometimes, you know, a man, you know, and I was talking to them about men, because I'm a man. So I can speak on how men feel, how we think. And I was letting the mothers know that, you know, sometimes it can be something real mediocre that would make a man miss out on helping raising his kids or helping take care of his kids. And it can be something so small but true as he can still be in love with the kids' mothers. That's a true fact. And some of us men, we can't stand to see another man with the woman that we have been in a relationship with. Some of us can't take that. You know, so now it becomes a heartfelt issue with him and his emotions. And the next thing you know, the kid 10 years old. You know, because he's still fighting with that passion. He's still fighting with those emotions. He's still fighting with his heart instead of his mind. You know, and for those of you who feel like that might not be that's not true, let me tell you how that's true on all levels. When you are when you're the mother of a man's children, and that man has to leave his household because mom, they just can't cut it anymore. This is how it gonna go when his heart is still there. He's going the kid. I'm gonna say the kid is 5 years old enough to talk to dad, old enough to call dad if he want to, this, that, and third. Through mom phone if he want to. However, don't make no difference. And dad calls. And he called mom, and this how the call go. Hey, how you doing? I'm doing okay. You all right? Yeah, I'm okay. You have a good day today? Yeah, I had a good day. What you want? That's if she still got love on her chest. She gonna be aggressive with it. What you want? You want to talk to your child? Yeah, I want to talk to my child. She might even go as far as to give the child a phone. And the phone conversation with the child gonna be, if it's a girl, we gonna always say, "Hey, baby, how you doing? Hey, daddy, girl." All that old kind of shit. And we gonna, you have a good day today? Yeah. What you do today? 5 years old. It's gonna be a few shit she might have did. She ain't gonna remember it. But other than that, that conversation gonna be, "Oh, okay, dad love you. Let me speak back to your mama." Then mama get on the phone. Yeah, what's up? You gonna buy her this, or you gonna get her that, or get them this, or get them that? And yeah, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna try to see what I can do, or this, that, and the other. Yeah, I bring the money, so forth and so on. But what's up with you though? Long story short, he gonna have a longer conversation with her ass than he is the children, cause his heart's still there. Until so, and it's gonna eventually. And all of us men know, so ain't no sense trying to sugarcoat this shit, cause you can't. All of us know that if she talk to us for 5 minutes too long, we gonna ask to sleep with her. We're gonna try to slide some sex shit in there somewhere. She might hang up when you say it. It don't make no difference. You gonna say it.
So do you think that happens with all
Eventually, yeah.
relationships?
Eventually, yeah.
What about just completely
E-
moving on,
e-
but
but
still being
don't make.
cordial?
But understand what I'm saying? It's still in his heart, though. He is still in his heart. You might feel like the woman might feel like this man did me so wrong. I don't never even want to touch him. Let's not sleep with him. But to him, you are that woman for him. I don't care. Ladies, I want y'all to understand. I don't care how many women. I don't care how many women we deal with throughout life. It's always one of y'all that we dread losing. And it's the same way with women. It's the same way with y'all too. Y'all won't admit it. We're not gonna admit it, period. But y'all, eventually y'all may admit it to your girlfriends or whatever, but we're not going to admit it. It's gonna take a real, for us to be real honest with ourselves to admit to the fellas, I think that's the one that got away, dog. You understand? So in co-parenting, we need to start using that as something to give us a thought on how we should raise these kids together, how we should be with these kids so that the kids won't grow up and be eerie toward either parent. Either parent. I'm not going to lie to my children. I'm not going to try to deceive my children. Your children will think that anyway. For some odd reason, kids think that sometimes we deceiving them. And it's because we don't give them an understanding. Sometimes giving kids the best in life is not being honest with those children. It's not being honest with the kids. Because you got to understand, it may be one day in life where you can't do it. But you have made these children feel like you can do it forever. And that's being deceptive to those kids. And sometimes we can put each other in that position, in that predicament to do that. You can be a single man raising your children, and you can say some eerie shit to the mom, and she can be there and promise them kids the world and don't do it. All because of her having an issue with your ass. And vice versa. But you'll sit back and tell the children, I told you he wasn't going to do it. I told you she wasn't going to do it. No, tell them why. Tell your children we had a misunderstanding, so that's why she didn't bring you them shoes. That's why she didn't bring you them clothes. If you're going to tell them something, tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. Tell them the reasons why. And then make them understand that this is a part of life. This is a part of two adults co-parenting that still have feelings for each other. It can be something that simple. And the next thing you know, like I say, the kid 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old. However, because neither parent is looking at the time. They're just following their hearts. They're just following their hearts. So we got to be real mindful this day and time in co-parenting. Because, believe it or not, that's why a lot of kids out here in the street running amok. Because they are not being parented right. And it could be to where something that simple is taking place in their lives. We got to stop making excuses for the way a lot of our kids go. And just be real with ourselves, within ourselves. To say, hey, they're not getting the right nourishment from parenting. It's always said that it starts from home. That's somewhat true. I'm not going to say that's 100% true. That's somewhat true. Because I know some kids who have been raised with a mom and a dad in the household, still fucked up. Still want a different way. So, it's all in what the child decides to do once they become of age to do it. And a parent to what you allow those kids to do around you is what make the difference. If you allow your children to be grown in your presence, how can somebody tell them to be a child? How can somebody tell them you're going to be a child when you're with me? Or when you're around other people? That's impossible. That's impossible. It's no different than us allowing our kids. You're allowing your kids, whoever kids, to act as an adult around adults, and then when something happened to them, you be the first to say they weren't nothing but a child. No, you can't straddle the fence. You can't let the children straddle the fence and then make them go. You got to have that same mentality. I have always let my children pick their own poison because that's all you can do. You can have them in a household with all the morals in the world. Once they become of age and as adults, it's on them. It's on them now. But one thing you can rest assured, they can't say is, I didn't know. I didn't know better. See that, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna give it to you raw and real. And then if you go out there and bump your damn head, we just gonna have to ride it out.
And say you didn't know.
But at least you can't say you didn't know.
Or I didn't tell you.
Didn't nobody tell you. So parents, that's how you raise that's the biggest factor in raising your kids. Make sure that they know. You can't force them to live it, but you can make sure that they know that there's consequences behind everything you do, whether it's right or wrong. You know, we have never, every funeral you go to is not because the person died from being a bad person. We have buried a lot of good people. We have buried a lot of people who were living life according to the Ten Commandments, according to the Bible, according to everything right. But when God called your number, when he pulled your number, I don't care who you are. I don't care how good you have been in life, how bad you've been in life. You gonna go. It's your time to go. So we can't try to make people saints when everybody in the world know they sinners. Whether it's your child, your uncle, your mama, your brother, your sister, whoever. You know. So let's do the co-parenting thing and get it down to a science. And that can alter a lot of these kids being in the street, committing crimes, you know, as they say, committing crimes, falling on the wrong track, following the wrong people, believing in the wrong things and the wrong people. And it's all because nobody's telling them the truth. Nobody's keeping it real with them. They hearing real from one person out of 20 people. You know, and then the first thing we say is, it take a village. Well, let's be the damn village. Let's go back to being the village. You don't have to be, a child shouldn't have to be in one environment to be considered being raised by the village. You know, so we got to do better with it. If they are children, let's make them be children. Let's make them be children. Let's make them live like kids until they become of age. And then whatever they decide to do, hey man, we just got to accept it and embrace it. And just keep encouraging different. We cannot make the decision on how an adult is going to live their life.
Right.
Whether it's your child or not. But you got to be real with yourself. You got to be real with yourself and be able to accept whatever life that child chooses to live.
Mm-hmm. And not blame yourself.
You know, it's not your fault your child wanted to be a thug. It ain't your fault a child wanted to be a fireman. It ain't your fault that a child wanted to go to the military. It ain't. That's what that child chose to do. Right. Now, if it's something wrong, that child is gonna correct that wrong, hopefully, by going through what you have to go through when you are living the wrong way. And hope that you can bounce back from it and then change. Sometimes we have to go through something to change our lives. To respect the opportunity of being back in society again. Sometimes they have to acknowledge that. You can't acknowledge it for them. You cannot live for your children once they are grown. You're going to kill yourself. But one thing you can do is keep being parent. Keep being mama, keep being daddy. And that child will respect the fact that I don't give a damn how you think she'll do it. My mom and my dad are going to goddamn straighten something. They going to make sure they ain't going to let me get away with it. They ain't going to let me feel like I'm doing something good or I'm doing something great or fantastic and I'm dead ass wrong.
Exactly.
And that's where we make a lot of our mistakes at with these kids. We give them the impression that it's cool to be an asshole. That's not cool. That's not parenting. And then soon as they wind up going to jail or getting hurt or getting killed, that's when we want to say they ain't nothing but children. Let's not do that. Let's not do it when it's too late. See, those are the points when it's too late. Those can be land of no return. So let's not let them put themselves in that position if we can help it. If we can help it. If we can't help it, then we got to live with it. We got to live with it. No one can watch and monitor their children 24 hours a day. No one can do that.
Right.
They can't even do it in the prison system. So we can't do it neither. We got to go to work. We got to go provide. So the only thing we can do is instill the morals in our kids and trust them to make the right decision. We're not perfect. They're not perfect. So we can't expect for them to be perfect. We can't expect it. So therefore, we have to just give them the morals. We have to give them everything, every tool they need to go out and build a house. And then trust them to go out and build it. And like I said, at the end of the day, at least they can't say, I didn't know. Nobody ever told me. I have heard that from a lot of kids. I done heard that from a lot of adults I done talked to. This same way. So in co-parenting, it comes with a lot. Co-parenting really is more stressful than being married, raising kids. Because you are the outside parent. You are that missing parent in that kid's life.
I think what makes it more difficult is when the other people get involved and try to affect the relationship with the child and their other parent that's not in the home. That's when the issues come.
Well, that falls on the parent that's in the household. And what I mean by that is, I'm glad you said that. That's a good point. How much of a man can a man be to live in another woman's household and help her raise her kids and don't assist in raising his own kids? or live a life to where the woman that whose household he's in now dictates to him how he should be with his kids. But at the same token, his kids can't come to her house. You got to be out your goddamn mind. For a man to even live a life like that, he has to be a damn fool. And I mean it just like I said. He has to be a damn fool. There's no way a woman should be able to dictate the relationship with you and your kids. Period. But you in a household raising hers? Helping her raise hers? Mm-hmm. But when those kids' father come knocking, you have to accept it. You have to be a damn fool to do that. You're gonna have to accept her kids being allowed to enact with their fathers, right. But you can't enact with your kids because the mother of your kids don't like her, or she don't like her. They done had some type of issue with each other because of your ass. That's another reason, ladies, that I'm speaking on as far as he can still be in love with her. His heart can still be somewhere there. And him not being the man to say, hey, man, this the one I think I lost. And acknowledge it. And then go on with life. Because the woman who he's in a relationship with now, you think she don't have no feelings for her children, daddy? Or some other man? Let's not misunderstand. She wasn't no damn virgin when you got her now, bro. So she done been in love a couple of times with somebody too. And as life go on, if y'all not together, she gonna fall in love again. Just like you are. She gonna be in another relationship too. So we can't get it twisted. That's life. That's a part of life all of us have to live. So if you keep it real in the beginning of the relationship, you won't have to deal with it later on in the relationship.
And put down the boundaries of what, because that's what I did. Like, you're not going to run my household just because you with my ex-husband now. Like, you have to put down boundaries.
That's right.
But see,
that's why I say that parent in that household got to straighten that. Because there you go, because the person who you're now dealing with is coming into that situation. That ain't got nothing to do with, if you allow a man to come in your household and your ex dictates how you run your household, that's on your ass. Not that other person. So that parent in that household gotta set those boundaries. Hey, bro, this man is in this household. This is his castle. Just like in the household you in, that's your castle. It go both ways. That's how it's supposed to be. Those children should be able to go to any house they want to go to and have peace. Right. And have peace and be accepted. Mm-hmm. And at the first sign, whether it's the man household or the woman household, at the first sign of that man seeing that his woman is not accepting his kids or kid, he's supposed to be out of there. But see, and she does too.
Some of them tricky with it. They wait,
But you can see it. Trust me. You see it. We see it. We'll see it.
Oh, the other woman will see it. Like,
thank you.
I'm gonna tell you, like, in 2 minutes, who, if this is a good person that's good for my daughter, or
yeah, they're gonna show it. Cause it's gonna show. You can't hide it.
You can't hide it.
Thank you. So he gonna see it. He know it. But like I say, sometimes we be that weak as men to those women. And it be for one reason, and one reason only, and that's because of how we got them. If you trick a woman into a relationship, it's a lie.
Not tricking them like, what do you mean?
And, okay, if you deceive her into being with you, like you telling her, I ain't got no woman. Some men will go to the strength to say, I ain't got no children, this, that. You ain't got nothing until the relationship build, and then all this shit start coming out. That's what I mean. You didn't keep it real in the beginning because you were trying to get the draws. And you winded up liking them. It starts out as a game to some men. And then once he put that whip on your ass, you stuck. Now, everything that you have deceived her with, it's going to start showing. Because now you actually want to be with her. But you done deceived her. No, if they ask you, do you have some children? Hell yeah. A lot of them. Whatever question they ask, you got to be truthful. You got to be truthful. I live a lot of stories in life because I think sometimes I be too honest with women. To the fact of what they'll say, I know you lying. You lying. You did. You gonna make me a liar. And I have always told women this. I tell them that when I first meet them, if we wind up dealing with each other, you're going to feel like I'm lying about a lot of shit because I'm being real with it. So, in the only way, and I'm 20-0 with this, the only way they ever find out that I was actually being truthful with them, and I have told them this, is when I'm gone. You don't find out I was being truthful with you. And that's sad, but it's true. So I live with it. I live with that. I have to live with it because I already know that it's going to happen. That's why every woman I've been in a relationship with, we still cool right to this day. We still okay. They can call me and confide. I'm going to give them my best and honest opinion. And that's crazy because when I was with you and giving you my honest opinion, you thought I was lying. But that's life. I ain't mad at them. Because if it's meant for us to be together, we'll be together.
Right.
You don't have to push it. But at the same token, I tell them, we're not going to let these children separate us. No kind of way. It's not going to happen. So, a lot of time my children not going to say nothing to me because they know I'm going to say something to their mom. Because I don't play like that.
Yeah, they don't try.
You know what I'm saying? Mom trying to be acceptable to say, I want my children to do this, that, and the other, so I'm going to accept this shit. And, when they tell me something about dad, that's the word say go. No, because see, daddy going to bring it out. This dad is. This daddy going to keep on punching the wall until the hole open to get the truth and get the right answers. That's what we're supposed to do. That's what we're supposed to do. No secrets. You can't let the children control co-parenting. They're going to win every time. They're going to win. And when y'all two dummies sit down and think about it and realize it, y'all going to see that the kid played both of you. And it's all because y'all weren't communicating as parents. Not as exes, as parents. When you have kids with another person, ex is out the picture. You're not exes because you're not together. Y'all parents now. Y'all are parents. Even if the children have enough respect for this man and he's not their biological father, same rule apply. If a man done help you raise your damn children and was there and has been there and been supportive, and your kids feel like that's daddy to them, who in the hell can change it? I hear men sometimes say, my children better not never call no nigga daddy. If they taking care of him, stupid motherfucker, they supposed to call him that. Cause that's a respect. That's a level of respect. That ain't him trying to take your place.
Right.
He can't take your place. He's not their biological father. But if he earns the respect from those kids to where they feel like I'm going to call him daddy, nobody can stop that. Nobody. And if your children sit around you and call another man daddy, you should respect it. That should give you a level of respect for that man.
You showed that he's treating your child right.
Thank you.
Because I wouldn't tell my child to call another.
You don't have to. The
just
kids make that decision.
Naturally, they make that decision.
The
right.
kids make that decision. Because they in the household, they see what's going on.
They see who daddy or who mama, they see. So yeah, I wouldn't.
You know.
Now, I don't know though. I don't think Izzy would ever do that.
You don't know.
I don't know.
Let me tell you something. I had a woman tell me one time, and I want y'all to hear this real loud and clear. I had a woman told me one time, she said, you ain't got to call me no more, because once I'm through with a man, it's over. My children done with them, this, that, and the third, so forth and so on, all type of shit. One day I got a phone call, y'all. And I told her these words right here. I said, okay, if you say so. I said, but the children know the difference. One day she called me. My children were getting ready. My children by her were getting ready to start graduating high school. So one of my daughters was getting ready to, she getting ready for graduation. She getting prom shit ready, the whole 9 yards. My phone rung. It was her mom. I said, hey, what's going on, girl? What you got going on? She said, nothing. She said, man, you want to hear something crazy? I said, what's that? She said, I said, where my baby at? I said, she finna graduate now, what's going on? She said, man, I'm telling you, that's why I called you. I said, oh, okay, cool. She said, but let me tell you something. I was at work, and this heifer called me and said, Mama, you told my dad when my graduation was? And she said, girl, what you been smoking? We just talked to your daddy yesterday. Your daddy know when you graduate, this, that, and other. And she said, my daughter said, no, I'm talking about Daddy Jeff. She said, I was speechless. She said, I couldn't even damn answer. She said, I didn't know what to say. She said, my children ain't never did that. I said, let me tell you something, baby. As I told you this before, when you first cracked on me about that. I don't leave scars, I leave marks. Okay? I don't leave scars, baby. I leave marks. And guess what? Me and her dad was at that damn graduation. Both of her dads was at her graduation. All my children, when they graduate, I'm at that graduation,
Cheering on.
cheering them on, getting put out. I don't give a damn. Put me out. I'm here. At least my children know I'm there.
That's how it should be.
Okay, so we can't say,
But see, with me, though, I'm only gonna make that
can't say.
effort. Maybe one or two times, and if that other person that's in the new person, if they ain't feeling it, I'm not gonna force nothing.
You don't have to force it. The children make that decision.
Right.
You cannot. If you're in a relationship, ladies and gentlemen, with a person, and your children have enough respect for that person to call them mom or dad, that's not nothing on you. That ain't got nothing to do with you. That don't have nothing to do with you. Your child made that decision because of what they have observed in their life. That this person has always been there through thick and thin. Don't have nothing to do with you. Not one thing. So you can't have an issue with it. Ain't no way you should have an issue with it. That's a respect level. That gives you praise, believe it or not. For your children to call another man or another woman mom or dad, that means you have had the right person in your life around your damn children.
Right. Or even if they take very well to them, they like them.
And that's the reason why.
And I've never heard.
So, how can you?
Tell me though. They tell me who you should like. Mom, I don't like him, or you know.
They'll see it.
Yeah, they'll tell you.
They'll see it. The kids will see it, but at the same token, when you give a man the chance to be around, to be in your household and help you in your household, whether it's raising your children or however, that's a plus for you. You know how many women go to bed at night and wake up in the morning hoping that they had a man in the household for help? You got to be kidding not to allow him to help. You got to be kidding not to stand up for him when he's being disrespected and he's not being disrespectful. He's your man. She's your woman. You're supposed to respect your house, make them respect your household.
Right.
If a person can't accept your kids, you have no business being with that person at all. It's never going to work.
Period. It's just not.
It's not going to work. It's not going to be a happy and healthy relationship. Especially when you're in the household helping them raise their damn children. That's another man's children. So once I see that, I leave then. Ain't nothing to talk about.
Me too. Even if I don't
It's-
want to, I've made some
It's
tough
nothing,
decisions, but
it's not going to change. Trust me, done been there and done that. It's not, she can say she can say I okay, this, that, and but that shit ain't gonna change. Especially if she has kids in the household. Hey man, the in-house kids, I want everybody to understand this that's listening. The in-house kid always get more than the outhouse kid because they're in the household.
exactly.
And it's the same way at mom house.
Exactly.
At mom house, the in-house kids be treated better than the outhouse kid. So how can you consider even making that an issue? You gotta take care of home by all means. I suppose to let the lights get cut off because my children mama sitting over there with a goddamn man snoring in her face and he let their lights get cut off? No, if her lights getting cut off, I hope she tell me that she finna lose her lights and I can contribute something to it because my damn children in there. And if the person I'm sleeping next to can't accept that, she can pack her shit and go. Those are my kids. They still my responsibility. I'm just not in the household with them. So if you got a problem with me getting a 50 or 100 or 200 on a bill to keep the lights on in my children's house, I'll holler at you, sister. And I hope that one day you understand. Period. You know, but I will check her. Hey, baby, you got a man sleeping with you. He need to be contributing something besides some sperm. Cause that shit play out. That shit dry up. You piss that back out. So you need to try to tell him to put something on the table, drop something on the floor, however you want to get it to you. He's the man of your household. You know, and we got to have a relationship. I got a relationship with every one of my children mothers better has. Because they part of my family. They part of my family. And I want them to understand, I don't want a dog. If I wanted her, you wouldn't be here. I would have corrected whatever wrong and stayed at home. So don't feel intimidated when you see me. I'm here to help, just like you here to help. You helping me. See, I would rather for the man that's being allowed to be in my children's household to call me and tell me about my children, especially my sons, more so than their mother. Because, see, he going to get it to me straight. He going to let me know this nigga, Big Jeff, this nigga fucking up. This nigga owes some, you know, she saying that other shit, but this what this nigga doing. See, that's that's why you got to have that relationship with him. So you can get the truth. She gonna tell you what this nigga said. The child, I mean. She gonna tell you, he said they did this. Hey man, come on, man. We've been Big Jeff, he been doing this shit for 6 months, 3 months, 2 weeks. She just ain't told you. Let me tell you something. A lot of my children's mothers better have called me and said some things to me to where they say, hey man, you inspire me to be better with my damn children. Cause I was that nigga who, man, I don't want no nigga around my children and can't no man be raised my, man, come on, man. He in the household with your children, bro. So you want him to just let your children go out there and do whatever cause he ain't they daddy. Really? Then you get a phone call saying something that happened to your damn child. And then you mad and say, why didn't nobody call me? Because you didn't give them that chance. You didn't allow them to. You didn't allow nobody to feel like they can call you. Because you got that bullshit on your chest.
So how does it work with older kids? Like say...
The same.
I know
the
we're
same.
talking about younger kids.
It worked the same way. It worked the same way.
So if you had a child, an adult child that was out of your house, and your significant other had a problem with that child, how would you react to that?
The same way. That's still my child. I wouldn't give a fuck if they was 60. You gonna accept my child. The age don't make no difference. That's still my child. Now, $64,000 question. I ask people this as well as, you know, significant others or, you know, boyfriends or girlfriends or whatever title we decide to give them. How can you dislike somebody you don't fucking know? Make me understand that. That's no different than me hearing a guy say one day, man, I don't like that dude. And then you said, well, why you don't like him? Shit, called my partner say he don't like him, so I don't like him. That make you a damn fool to me. You gonna dislike somebody because a friend of yours say they don't like him? But now if you ask that friend, well, why you don't like him? And they say some shit like, shit, I just don't like the nigga, man. You supposed to hit him in the mouth. Because he's a damn fool for even saying that. Here it is, a man you don't know. The man ain't did nothing to you whatsoever, and you say, I don't like him. Women the same way, both ways. We got to get out of that. We got to get past that. You know, y'all women sit around in the cat huddles, croaking on men this and men that. That's a bunch of miserable ass women speaking. You going home to a man. What the hell you listening to that for? She going home by herself. Wishful thinking. You going home to a man that's doing what a man's supposed to do, and you gonna sit back and let a bunch of miserable women make you feel like he ain't shit. Really? But you know, but you going home, your lights on, gas on, the house note paid, car note paid. He done went and bought them regular ass shoes for you, them funky ass dresses, them ugly ass panties, all type of shit for you. You ain't got no issue whatsoever at home. But you gonna go home and say, oh, I know you doing this and you doing that cause so-and-so said, well, you gotta, hey man, he's supposed to put your ass out. And it can be your house.
Other people will definitely cause your relationship to break up.
You damn right they will. If you get stuck in listening to it.
Exactly. That's the key. If you let it happen.
If you let it happen.
You let it happen, and then that's on you.
You stuck in
And
that
that's
shit.
what some weak-minded people do. They listen to outsiders, whether they your bros or your sis and all that crazy stuff.
Everybody know what bro and sis mean. Everybody know what bro and sis mean. When that boy standing around talking about, oh, that my sis, boy, he knocking off. That my bro. Yeah, they done knock boot before.
They done not boots with the bros.
Damn right. That my bro. Oh, really?
Uh-oh.
You better make
I done heard that.
you better make her explain why she saying bro. Shit. So it's all in parenting. It's all in parenting. We gotta make sure that these kids know that when you get old enough to call yourself being in a relationship or whatever, that's how you gotta treat it.
You do.
And it gotta be honest. It got to be honest. You know, sometimes the truth hurt.
Right.
But you gotta be honest.
And if somebody can come in and break up my bond, that
You ain't
quick,
have
that easy, I don't want it.
You didn't have that means you didn't have you didn't have a good bond anyway.
Exactly.
If someone can drive a wedge between you and a person, y'all, the bond wasn't strong anyway.
It wasn't strong anyway.
You know,
Right.
so, it wasn't meant.
On whatever stage.
It wasn't meant. You know what I'm saying? So, we gotta be mindful, because at the end of the day, it's other people involved. It's other people involved. So ain't no sense in, fighting a two-headed sword. Just be real. It don't cost nothing to be real, but it costs everything to be fake. And everybody can be fake.
Exactly.
It's hard being real, man. Being real means that you have to be honest. Being real means that you have to know who you are. Being real means you have to accept the fact that life is life. And you can't change it unless you change life to do better, not to go backwards. So why be put in a thunderstorm when you can just be in the rain? Just be in the rain, man. If it had to be that, just be in the rain. It don't cost nothing. It stop raining eventually and the sun come out. But if you're in a thunderstorm, hey man, anything can happen. Thunderstorm can turn into a tornado, hurricane, wipe everything out. So why put yourself in that position? We got to make it make sense. Got to make it make sense. So in co-parenting, these are facts This ain't fiction. This is shit that's been lived. This is something that people are still living every day. And it's all because the parents won't decide to get along with each other and raise the kids together. Together. Your child shouldn't be able to call mom when they with dad and say, Mama, they ain't doing this, or Dad ain't doing this, or they ain't let me this, or they ain't let me that, and then mom call talking shit. Instead of calling and saying, what going on? That boy say, did that in the other, and let dad handle it. And let dad handle it, mama. Let dad handle it. Because he's with dad right now. And vice versa.
So
If
what
they,
do you think about the other person discipline the child?
the other half,
Not the other parent, the other
the better half,
the
or the
better,
other parent.
right? The other
Okay.
parent,
If
significant
the other
other.
parent has a significant other, I feel like they are entitled to discipline your child when they with them. Because understand this, I just said earlier, if something happened to your child in the midst of your child being with them, who you gonna blame? Both of them.
Why the parent can't do it though?
What
So
you mean?
I get my thing is if I feel like the other significant other partner
Yeah.
already has an issue with that child, definitely no, you're not gonna
But
let the parent
but
discipline.
see now you backtracking. If I just said earlier, if your baby daddy or your ex-husband or whatever he is to you
Yeah.
is in a relationship and that person cannot accept their child, their children, they shouldn't be with them. But if they decide to be with them, now if they decide to be with them, it should be a known fact. It should be acknowledged already that when my child is him, if whatever your feelings are, you better not use that shit against my children. That's if I decide to stay there. But I would have to be a damn fool to stay there. But if my child is doing something that's beyond parenting. If my child is in my household and my child being disrespectful or my child doing something wrong and my significant other is there and see it, they supposed to say something regardless of what. They supposed to say something and then they supposed to call me and tell me. Or when I get there, they supposed to tell me. And then I handle it.
Right.
Now, as far as them handling it, as far as them handling it, I mean, hey, you can't do that. You know you wouldn't do that if your daddy were him, or you know your daddy don't play like that, or you know your daddy ain't gonna agree to this, or whatever you got going on. You feel what I'm saying? And then leave it at that. That's if I decide to stay with that person. That's, like I say, that's something that that parent has to address with their significant other. You feel what I'm saying? So that it won't get to a point to where my child have to be disrespectful to them. Or they have to feel like they can talk to my child in the kind of way or whatever. That's why I say that's not a good relationship to be in. Because it's gonna always be personal. You feel what I'm saying? And it don't even have to be personal. It's just gonna be took personal every time because, like I say, once these kids find out a person don't like me, or they start feeling like a person don't like me, it's nothing good you can say to them. You can say congratulations on your grades, and they'll take that person. You feel what I'm saying? That's why I say the parents supposed to have that discussion. The child don't supposed to never hear that. That child do not supposed to never hear that. That child don't even supposed to even feel like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's if the significant other is respecting the relationship. And that's on the man and the woman side. You feel what I'm saying? So, you know, ain't this my opinion. Ain't that much love in the world for me to stay in a relationship like that. Ain't no way. It's not, I feel like that about mixed marriages or mixed relationships. I feel like that about those situations. To me, to be in a mixed relationship and is a tongue biter. You know what I'm saying? To be in an interracial relationship, man, I feel like that's a harsh, that's a hell of a relationship that to be in, you know, considering it's not gonna always be lovey-dovey. You know what I'm saying? And if things get blown out of perspective, like they might do sometime, you have to bite your tongue on a lot of things that you might feel or you might want to say. You know what I'm saying? For example, you're in a relationship with a white woman or a white man. Y'all get to arguing. Anything he say vulgar to you, it's gonna be personal. Anything this black man say vulgar to a white woman, it's gonna be personal. You can't call that white woman a cracker. You can't call that white man a cracker. You'll say it, but that's a sign of disrespect. Cause you ain't gonna want that white man to call you a bitch, a black bitch, or a whore. It's gonna mean more by them saying it, in other words, than for your own race to say it to you. You understand what I'm saying? If a black man get mad enough to call his black sister the B word, you know what she gonna say most likely? Your mammy. You understand what I'm saying? Your mammy, your daughters, all type of shit. Or whoever. There you go. But in an interracial relationship, you can't say that. Why? Cause you can't. How can you tell a white man his mom is a black bitch? Hey, so yeah, you can say your mama, but he don't care. White folks kill their parents.
He probably okay. So you say
Shit, he probably don't care nothing about their parents. So you ain't hurting him. I'm just saying it's a limited conversation. You feel what I'm saying? It's certain things that y'all can't even discuss if it's not an argument. You feel what I'm saying? I looked at this TV program one day, right, called Girlfriends. One of the young ladies on Girlfriend wound up marrying this white guy that was a dentist or some shit. He was I think he was a dentist, some shit. But anyway, he bought her a card for I think it was a Mother's Day card. I think it was a Mother's Day show or some shit. He bought her a card. And the card that he bought her had black people on it. And he gave her I think it was a necklace or some shit. And then he gave her the card. When she opened the card up, she snapped. And she said, "So what, you being racist?" And he was like, "What you mean?" She said, "You gonna buy me a black card because I'm a black woman, this, that, and..." He said, "Well, hell, I thought that was, the right thing to do. This, it's limited." You understand what I'm saying? It's limited. You could have got me a card with anything on it other than this. Now she taking it as an insult. Then more so of him saying, "Well, I'm gonna give her a black card." It's no different than you walking in a store and your child say, "Mom, I want a Barbie doll," and go in there and grab the real Barbie, and we know she white. But they got a black Barbie right beside them. You say, "Why you gonna get that damn doll? Get a black Barbie." Get a black Ken. That ain't what it is. Barbie and Ken were white.
Yeah, I do got black Barbies now.
Why?
Cause it's different
Because
culture.
no different culture here. Because people are like that.
Yeah, culture is evolving.
Thank you. And that's my point. That's my point. It's limited. It's limited. Now, which one you think is gonna be a collector's item? The black one or the white one?
Probably the original,
You damn right.
which was probably
Because that's what we have been dictated all of our life is that Barbie is a white chick.
well, we've been dictated to believe that anything black is negative. Black cat
It
is
don't make no
bad.
difference.
Black egg, black,
But
you know.
but guess what? Hey man, I don't believe in superstition, first of all. But second of all, in the narrative, it's a limited conversation. How can you have a conversation with okay, you were a white man and he goes out and buy a Barbie and he comes back with a white Barbie with the car, the Jeep, the mobile home, everything, all the Barbie essentials, accessories, and give them to your black daughter. You gonna go in there and say why you didn't get a black Barbie? Yeah, that's what I thought. It's not gonna happen. But guess what? You had that thought though.
Well, I don't like the real, like the dark black, like
Don't
this
make no
color
difference.
black.
Barbie is not
No,
black.
that's now the brown Barbies that look more like
Barbie
Michael
is not
Jackson.
black,
Yeah,
Senita.
I
Barbie is
understand.
not black.
I understand they do have black Barbies.
Okay,
But
that's
the
why. To
original,
satisfy. It's for money purpose. It ain't for truth.
yeah,
What's the name of this show?
nothing but
Nothing
the
but the
truth.
damn truth.
Yeah, it's for marketing purposes as well.
That's it.
But it's also, because they have a market for it though.
Amen.
Like
Why
today,
not why not make a black doll and name her name?
if I bought, they do. They have
Okay.
Ariel.
Okay, thank you. There you go.
They
There
have
you
ones.
go.
They have ones.
Let's make those names popular. Let's make those names
Pocahontas, she wasn't.
let's make those names collect the items. Let's do that. Let Barbie have her shit. Let Ken have his shit. We ain't trying to compete. They trying to compete to get the money. Because they know people mindset done went there. You feel what I'm saying? No different than being in that relationship. Your mindset got to be on a different level.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
In all aspects, because at the end of the day, he's still going to take you home to meet his parents, I hope. You understand what I'm saying? You still got to be welcome into that family now, sister.
I don't date outside my race.
You know, and I don't have nothing against that. I'm just saying, to me, that's a limited relationship. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's like, as y'all say, you walking on eggshells. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got to always narrow, you got to always conscientious think of how to talk to that person.
No.
You got to.
My son's father's Colombian, so I don't think that
How you talk to him?
I don't think I had to adjust who I am to accommodate
Conversation wise.
relationship.
I'm saying conversation wise.
I think that we.
Because his culture is different. He's different. Now, now you might not go and buy some Colombian shit for your child.
No, but he does.
My point. My point. My point. And guess what? That's some shit you ain't gonna agree with.
Right.
But he's not gonna agree with nothing in your culture that's good enough for his child.
You know what? I kind of have to agree a little bit with that.
So
But see, that didn't happen at first. That happened like years down the line when that side of it started coming out.
yeah, you damn right it's gonna come out.
Yeah. But had I known that from the beginning,
You did know it.
nah.
Yes, you did know it. You knew you were going interracial day one. You did know it.
But that doesn't mean.
No, Shanita, you knew it.
Yeah, I know I was going interracial, but that doesn't mean that if you
It ain't about being negative. It's about how they have been raised.
I get you.
Every race has been raised. And this is sad, but it's true.
That's true.
Every race has been raised to feel like blacks ain't shit.
I believe that.
You can tell the way they treat you. You walk in a foreign store, they'll start ringing people up to watch your ass.
They do.
They will actually try to ring people up and look and find your ass in the store at all times.
But I do.
But when you go to their country, you don't get that. And it's because they have been told in transition when they ass jumping on them ships, coming over here illegally and legally, that don't trust the blacks. But that's another story. We'll talk about that on another show. So, but co-parenting, this is, that's something that we got to really get better on. We really got to get better on co-parenting. You know what I'm saying? So, the better halves on both sides, they got to play their role as the partner on both sides. They got to.
Deal with my
And they got to be treated accordingly.
I don't want to deal. Like, to me, he can have 100 women. My relationship with him is my daughter.
Okay. And
I don't
and
care
that's
who-
all it is.
I don't care who his significant
That's it.
other is. I don't care to get to know
You don't
him.
supposed to care,
I don't
but
wanna be friends with
you
him.
should, but you should though. You should, because if your child ever has to go and be in their company for a period of time, you need to have that understanding. You need to have that relationship.
I've tried that, and when that doesn't work out, I just.
But when you tried it, did you think about the narrative when you tried it? Did you think that? Did you have the same? Did you have the mindset that you have now by me giving it to you to say, hey man, try to make it work with that person? And if it don't, it don't. But you still gotta have that relationship with the father,
Definitely,
and the father gotta handle that.
right.
There you go. Let him handle that.
That's it. That's
You
my
know,
take on it.
and make it known to him. Hey man, listen, that's your wife or whatever.
Situation,
When my child is around, I just want her to be respected.
that part.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all you can ask for.
We ain't gotta be patty cake.
There you go.
No.
There you go. So eventually, if she stayed out long enough, meaning his wife, if she's in your child company for a period of time, guess what she gonna wind up doing? Getting to know your child.
Yeah.
Some things have to grow on us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some things have to grow on
My
us.
son's father and his wife. I love Jackie. Like his
Yeah.
wife named Jackie.
So some
Yeah.
some people have to grow on us.
She has to grow on.
There you go. So but you don't go in resisting already, cause you ain't gonna never accept it. So you can't be resentful
I think
already.
the resistance comes when, like you said, when there's some type of drama. That's where
Yeah.
my resistance came in. Now, going like at first, I'm open to, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
But when I see it's going a different way, or if I feel like there's some animosity towards my child, then that's when my resistance is gonna come up. Like boom.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, sometime, Mom, I can totally and respectfully say this with all honesty. Sometime when it's not in people like that, they be rebellious toward it because they're intimidated.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So, once you see that intimidation come out of that person, that's when you really have to think about the approach that you want to come at them with. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just have to sit back and observe them first. And once you observe them and see, okay, well they might be this type of person. So let me try to go at them with this type of conversation. You feel what I'm saying? In other words, do what we be taught to do, when we going through the colleges and this, that, and other, and they teach you to be cordial. They tell you, okay, we gonna try to be passive aggressive, all this old type of shit. You feel what I'm saying? You know, and try that. Doing observing those people, you got to try to keep throwing things in there. Okay, let me see if they this type of person, and try this conversation. You feel what I'm saying? In other words, like we used to say back in the day, break the ice.
I think that would be nice if you could
You know,
come up to that level and you can
and
do
you
that.
can,
But me personally, I don't care to.
you
Like,
can. When you say come up to that level, I want you to think about this. In anything you're taught in life, anything that's taught in life comes from what? Being taught to
being
put you
taught,
at a certain level.
but it also comes from experience.
Yeah, but it takes you to a certain level. Everything you learn in life is to take you to the next level, supposedly.
That's true.
You feel what I'm saying? So that's a part of life too. So you sometimes, we used to have this thing I learned in coaching, and I'm so thankful for Coach Hunter and Coach Cofield and my brother Coach Red. They always stayed on me, and at first I didn't get it. And I used to be like, damn, they just picking on me, man. They just goddamn keep coming at me and coming at me. And one day Coach Hunter told me, he said, look here, Junebug. And I played for this man in high school. He coached me in high school, and he wound up coaching at college level. And he's just been one of my mentors throughout life. All of us played for him in high school and be damn volunteers, then start winding up coaching together on the same team,
Wow.
in the same program.
Okay.
And he said, hey, man, it don't be no disrespect, Coach Jeff. He said, sometimes coaches have to coach the coaches. You understand that?
I get it.
Sometimes just because you feel like you know what you're doing, don't mean you know what you're doing.
That's true.
Especially when you haven't been mastered to it, meaning you haven't been taught it. So in order to be a good follower, you have to first surround yourself and have you a good leader. If you're following a good leader, you don't have a choice in the end but to be a good follower. And that's what makes you a good leader. And it's all in what we talk about every week. Nothing but the truth.
Gotta be honest.
You got to be real with those people. Everybody can be fake, but it's hard to be real. You can't beat real. Trust me, you can't beat it. I ain't seen nobody beat real yet. So we're going to end this thing today. And I wanted to do this part too because this is something that I really wanted to discuss last week. And Shanita, I heard Shanita did a damn good job on this subject last week. So we're going to give it up for Shanita and her efforts. You know what I'm saying? And, I just wanted to make sure that I try to get through to our people. All right? So this is Big Jeff
This is Shanita.
coming to you from No Days Off Radio Production with the #1 show in the land. Nothing but the truth. And we out.